Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What's up? What's down? What is going on around? I'm Paulo Leasing, founder of StartupInTaiwan.com. This show is to answer your questions about starting up here in Taiwan, either for business, school, or hanging around. So leave your questions in the comments section below. Our guest for today is Linshuan Chu, or simply Linh Chu, and she's from the US. Lin is founder of Webu, a social marketing app that brings offline to online, helping small businesses and freelancers gain validation and push their ad contents to local and global users for a flat rate of $2 across industries. Also connecting communities to explore economy potential by cross-sharing contents and events. Lin and her husband created to promote content creators, freelancers, and small businesses from 0 to 1. Wow, we'll hear about that. The team will be pushing tractions from their 60 million plus followers that are on their current social media influencers from IG, YouTube, and more. So the topic for today is about the challenges of doing social media ads on Facebook and Google. And it's always a good topic, and how Webu is solving these challenges. So Lin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Paulo. It's great to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right, so let me dive into the first question. Why Taiwan? What brought you here?
Yeah, so there are a few factors that we picked Taiwan. One of the factor is the legal advantage, right? So I'm not only a U.S. citizen, I'm also a Taiwanese citizen. This is completely legal. Countries like Thailand does not allow dual citizenship, but luckily United States and Taiwan are. So when it comes to being owning a business, we gain more advantage on the rights and control, right, for our own business. And this country has about 26 million population, which is a decent market when it comes to purchasing power. And the other reason is the qualities of workers, for example, from the project manager to software developers. They're much more workable comparing to the other Southeast Asians, for example, like Thailand. The salaries here has to do with our burn rate. It gives us a much longer burn rate than the ones in Europe, the ones in the US. That's the reason.
All right. So primarily because you're taking advantage of being a Taiwanese and a US citizen at the same time because of the talent that Taiwan can produce. So could you tell us more about your company, Webu?
Yeah, sure. This is the reason I think I'm here for today. And I like to address the problems we encounter and as well as the market fit, the product market fit. So we identify 3 issues in today's society. One is that there are 280,000 content creators on YouTube alone, right? But how do these people really go from the first 0 subscriber to, let's say, the 100 subscriber? So how do you go from 0 to 1? There's even pricing for each follower. But, are people really willing to do that, have the skill set to do that, have the mindset to do that? And this is why we was here. We helped them gain the first batch of followers or subscribers, or even enough of followers for them to go monetize. And the second problem we encounter is that marketing is not a cheap task. I was on the Facebook, right? I was on the Facebook the other day trying to sell my daughter's electrical car. So I got a notification that in order to reach about 3,000 people, I need to pay $12 per day. And that's $72 a week. And if you times that by 4, and some months has more than 4 weeks, you're looking at 7,000 NTD a month just for marketing. And if you look at the mom and pop shops around the corner, the barbershops around the corner, even food trucks, are they really going to spend that much on marketing? And a lot of people choose to skip that. And that what that does is tarnish their growth. And the question is, did I sell our car? Yes, I did. I waited 3 weeks to sell the car, but they don't have the time, the resources to wait for this long, right? So that's why we're charging everybody a flat rate of 2. And we do that by pushing 60 million users into download, and this is our foundation. That's our basic impression. And then, and I have mentioned a couple people earlier. For example, the influencer, wannabe influencers, right? Content creators, the freelancers, and these mom and pop shops. These are the underserved market. There's no problem for the corporations to pay millions for marketing. In fact, they're doing marketing everywhere, every day. But who helps these mom and pop shops? And this is our mission, the whole purpose of us creating Webu. And I also like to mention, we are a team of 6. We're very, very thrilled to have onboarding a CTO, which we will make a formal announcement in February.
Wow. We'll get to know more about the team. I'm sure you're going to sharing. We'll share that discussion in a bit. But I'm interested about this 60 million followers on your influencer channels. So how do you push content to them? And apart from that, you're also just charging customers a flat rate of $2 across industry. Is there some technology involved here?
Yeah, so first of all, our founder, also partner, Jay, he builds influencers. He actually makes people famous. So one of our youngest channel, YouTube channel, is called the Proly G. We spent about 4 months building that. We're able to reach 3.5 million impressions with about 19,000 subscribers. So this is what we do. And as for the 60 million followers, are a group of influencer friends who sees our vision and is willing to promote the product for us for free. So, and when it comes to, charging $2, is there any technology to that? We are 100% software basis startup. We are also server based. So compare us to, say, other industries like the hardware, right, where they need a certain amount of workers under a certain amount of working space, having each worker work 8 to 10 hours, produce certain amount of productions. We're not limited to that limitation. So we are 100% algorithm based and server based, meaning the more users we have, the larger server space, cloud space we need. So this may be a little tangible. Let's compare us to Line and Uber. Let's say these companies, they don't need a large factory base or office base to make production. But we certainly need internet, we need traction and server space to run a global business, right? So that's where we are.
Well, I'm also interested about, it looks like this is out of the preliminary questions that I sent you earlier, but it looks like you are going in 2 directions. One is you help regular consumers market their products, but on the other side, you are also recruiting and helping develop influencers on their own. How do you do the other side this time, the helping the influencers build their network? For example, you mentioned helping someone in a span of 4 months achieve 19,000, which basically is very difficult to do. And as you can see, I have this channel for almost a year now, and I only have 600. Very ashamed of that figure, but actually I'm producing a lot of content. How is it that in 4 months you get 19,000 followers or subscriptions?
Yep, so there are 2 questions that I see there, and also giving credit to your background noise. These people are the small businesses, right? And that's one of their marketing methods. And so, yeah, your first question was how do we attract these people? First, we are B2BC. So around, for example, the first batch of 60 million people, within the 60 million people, there are some models, there are some those small business owners, there are some people who have a job, there's those people who sells things on the internet, there are a whole bunch of people, and we are B2BC. So those people who go to YouTube and create a new channel, and they can simply come to us and send their contents to us, and we will promote their site. So Webu is a completely cross-sharing platform, but in order to maximize our features, they need to be a Webu user as well. So going back to the second question, how do we help these people grow? This is actually like the whole secret in this content creating industry, right? There are a couple sectors that grows fan base the easiest. One, pets product. Second, children product, right? The third, maybe female product. So in order for businesses to strive, we really need to increase exposure and target the right customers. So, keywords, hashtags, these all matters. And what we do a lot is we collaborate with bigger YouTubers. Wow. It's a lot of work putting in. Yeah. So our influencer Pro, she actually goes out about 6 times a week to collaborate with other YouTubers, and we gain kind of subscriber that way, and it's a very interactive, kind of highly engaging subscribers.
In your website description, you also mentioned Metaverse, which was a little bit of hot topic like few months ago. How is your Webu going into that direction?
Yeah, so the definition of metaverse, right, I have here is a virtual reality space in which users can interact in computer-generated environment and other users. So what Webu does is we create this whole world of work that is directly related to the users and help them monetize their income. And so it's very useful to the users. But going back to earlier, in order for them to maximize the features and benefit from us, they need to be our users. They need to be actually download us and create a profile in order to use us. So this is why we are categorized in the metaverse.
Before I go into the next question, I remember I said I'll give you a space to discuss your team. And so could you elaborate on your team composition and how important is that towards your vision?
Yeah, sure. So we're a team of 5, and so we have 3 co-founders. Jay and I, we met each other for 7 years. We're actually husband and wife, and we currently recruit a technical CTO who's also our co-founder. He's located in Malaysia, and we thought this way we can really strengthen the Southeast Asia market. And then the next member is our technical member. Full stack, and then a marketing and digital content. So they're the products, and Pro and June. These are their nicknames.
Okay, so I know that you're currently in discussion with potential investors. How is it easy to find investors in Taiwan as a foreigner, or does it matter that you're a foreigner when you're looking for investors here?
Yeah, so I'm so glad, Paulo, that we discussed this topic. This is such a, this is such a big problem for a lot of the entrepreneurs. And I have, currently there are so many resources coming out in helping the entrepreneurs in learning and coming about the fundraising, including the crowdfunding, angel investors, angel groups, right? So I have organized so-called the fundraising roadblocks into 8 directions, and I'm sure there are more. It's like a whole other university that you need to graduate from, right? But one of it is culture, the other one is timing, gender, team member, your product, opportunity, storytelling, and vision, and then financial. So when it comes to culture, right, there are so many bodies of fundraising. There is the traditional bank bankers, bankings with books and books of regulation. There's also the angel investor, there's the angel instant family office, VCs. What's important is when picking, when selecting these bodies, you also need to find out how active they are in the investment scenery. Are they good in their investment? Have they make any return in their investment? Because these factors will essentially deter how much allocation they will focus on your project, and that has to do with budget and timing too. Yeah, and then the next would be gender, right? Your team member, so to speak. Personally, my experience as a female founder in this road of fundraising, it was hard for me in certain country more than the other country. So to answer you, does a foreigner really matter? Yes and no, but that's why you don't really work on a startup on your own. Let's be frank and honest. We can only do so much, right? We need help. So how strong you are in your team, for example, whether you have a technical member or you who does the marketing, right? The stronger you are adds more points to having confidence for you from the investors, because at this stage, let's say you need fundraising, you're essentially working for the investors to make money for them, right? And who are in the team is how investors look at you, like who's gonna make the money for me, who's gonna generate the return for me. So and this goes to another point. How do you go about making revenue? You go about by having a product, and your product really depending on how much is in need, how product market fit, is your product. The more in need of your product, the greater value you can generate. And so my next point is opportunity, right? Like right now you're giving me this opportunity, but let's say if I don't hustle, if I don't hunt you down, then I wouldn't have this opportunity. So being a founder is by far the hardest thing I have ever done in my life, other than childbirth. But is it worth it? It's really worth it. And the other one is storytelling. So there are so many stages of startups. There's the idea stage, MVP stage, the revenue stage, maybe Series A, sorry. So out of these, there are about 5,000 startups in the States, about 1,000-ish in Taiwan every year. And most of the startups don't make it to the unicorn. But let's say if your product, your startup absolutely have the potential to go for unicorn, do you want to share so much resources for the investors? Now allow me to share one experience with you and the audience. We had an interview with a VC the other day, and their expectation is for a $3 million investment, they're expected to gain $1 billion in return. Wow. For 10 years. Yeah. So, reverse psychology, you have to think. And this, you also have to identify what you need. For example, do you need marketing, right? Or do you need product, or you need office? And let's say all these things that you need is equivalent to $500,000. And the next day, someone is able to provide you everything, with everything that you need, and then the other person comes to you with $500,000. Which one are you gonna choose, right? If you're choosing the cash, then you need to be very careful. You might be doing something wrong. So that's what I was trying to say. And the last point is financial, right? Are you able to generate this much for your investors? So that goes back to the team part, that it's very critical for us to identify the right partner that we're able to work with for a long run, not just someone who tossed you with the money and leave you for vain. So hopefully, my feedback will help.
Yeah, it looks like you're not having that much trouble finding funding, because you've been talking to investors, and for you it's a matter of choosing whether to accept the funding and for what reason. Is this correct?
Yes and no. We actually are updating our numbers, are updating our product video.
Wow.
So it's it's the one thing that to tell them what they need to know. There's another thing that they don't really understand what you're doing.
Mm.
So it's a constant adjusting, constant updating until it's right. But we currently do have two offers.
All right. So I'll go straight to I'll go to another topic, which is being a foreigner in Taiwan. In general, how do you think Taiwan can improve the lives of foreigners here?
Yeah, so it's not a very easy answer because we're looking at the very established and well-connected foreigner or the ones who come here, just like us, looking for new opportunities. But I would say the the foundation matters in a sense that having a family, having a shelter, a home to go to, basic food and everything, and love provided. Only when a person is well fed, well treated, then he or she can come out as a complete person to live a full fledged life. And the same logic applies to businesses. If you have to worry about, where do I what's how long is my burn rate, where do I come up with the next funding, right? And my basic expenses are so high, I have to squeeze out my capital. Then it really takes a lot of nuisance, a lot of energy out of the founders or any foreigner in any country.
So okay, so it looks like you're also trying to see whether there's enough support for foreigners here in terms of businesses. And correct me if I'm wrong with that intuition from your answer.
Yes, and having, if the standard of the living is so high, then it's really hard. And then the economy has becoming a capitalized economy. Then it's harder for those who with innovation, small startups to strive. So it's hard to kind of bring about, but I think let's say a couple years later, we become successful, and what would I do to give back to Taiwan would be I would generate accelerator program and really help these startups, help these founders to do fundraise and provide all sorts of support. There are a few ones in Taiwan, to name a few, at work, and they're really based on domestic, right? Not based on Taiwan kind of product, not international product. So, but the Taiwan market is pretty limited,
Mm.
right? We if we all wanted to strive, want to live full fledged, it would be decent to kind of go global, have a global mindset.
Okay, so our goal in this program is to help our guests. So may I ask, what is your action item and how could this show help Webu?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting or allowing us here. The purpose of this interview is we like to educate, right, our users, let them know that what is Weibo. There's such a thing called Weibo, and we are not a influencer agency. We actually help our users, and we are B2BC, so we're helping our users go from zero to one. And another thing we like to gain from this interview is also exposure. So even though we have 60 million followers, our followers are based in Brazil, Europe, and North America, and very small percentage in Thailand. And this is why for a global product.
So let's do a fast round. Basically, you just have to tell me what first comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. What is your daily breakfast?
Ensure and milk.
All right.
So yeah, I used to, be able to sit down and make a good breakfast or at least go out. But, being a mom and a dog owner is kind of hard. So I have about 5 minutes in the morning to make everybody's breakfast. So I mixed in the milk, the formula Ensure together with coffee. I thought that's perfect.
All right. What show are you currently watching on Netflix?
I'm not able to watch anything, honestly. Yeah, I kind of stream around YouTube and yeah.
Are you a morning or night person?
I am a morning person. Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
Android or iOS user?
I kind of use both,
Mac or PC?
both as well.
What's your favorite games or board games?
Board games and games, not really. I do like chess, the goat, the black and white chess. They call it the
Okay.
goat, right? Yeah, and suck at it though, but still learning. Yeah.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
This is a good question. I have tons of favorite movies, but my first favorite movie was Notebook, by Rachel and Ryan Gosling. They like make a huge sell, right? And I think the to take away from this movie is that family, love can conquer everything. And that's kind of a feat that I live on every day because being a founder is not easy, and if things are easy, we success wouldn't come so valuable. So yeah.
What is your favorite book?
Oh, we can go about on this for days again. But to name a few, I like any general life science book, and also bibliography. To name a few, probably, this one,
Wow. Okay.
by Donald Trump. Yeah, Art of the Deal and Da Vinci Code. I also like this book that I am recently reading in Mandarin. It's called the 失落的致富经典. So English name gives it a little bit like a shallow taste. It's called Science of Getting Rich.
Oh, wow. So that's our last question. So thank you again, Lynn, for guesting in our show. And for our audience, please help spread the word about what we're doing here. Subscribe if you haven't done yet, and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.